Hi there and welcome to Kitchen Counter Crafts. If you like this video, would you please like, comment, share, and subscribe? So today I have a Sailor Fude de Mannen pen for you. Sailor, if you're not familiar with it, it's a company from Japan and it has a very cool history. The owner of the company, the founder, was given a fountain pen from the United Kingdom, and this was back in the day in the early 1920s, 1930s, and he was so taken by it that he wanted to make Japanese pens, and that's how he really got started. And so this is a Japanese company, and the name Fude de Mannen, and for me it sounded very Italian to me, like Fude de Mannen, but that sounded like Count Dracula. But anyway, it sounded very Italian to me, but it is also Japanese. So Fude means brush or like a brush nib, and Mannen means fountain pen. So really it's saying it's a brush fountain pen, which it's a brush fountain pen. How about that? So I wanted to do an unboxing or an unpackaging today. And so it's got a very cool, but no frills packaging, and everything is all written in Japanese. So I think it's really helpful though to have an unboxing and to see, because this is really not what I expected to receive, because really there aren't that many unboxing videos. So thought I would do one for you. And in the instructions, it just, shows you that it's capable of making different strokes, if you will, and then to make sure that you are putting a cartridge in, and that's it. Like, those are the only diagrams really that you get. So without further ado, I'm going to open this. And the first thing that I notice about this is that it's very long. And in fact, that's one of the surprising things about the packaging. I was like, huh, that's a very long pen. There is no clip on here, but it has this little dealy right here, and that is a roll stop. So there you go. So if your pen is rolling, it will stop and help it to not roll off your desk. It is all plastic, and actually it's not that cheap feeling plastic. It's not too bad. I wish you could actually feel it, but the plastic is pretty nice. It has a little bit of the branding logo right there. And so that's pretty nice. Gold band up on top, gold on the bottom, and over here at the end of the cap. It is a screw cap, so it's 2 turns. And let's see, that is not a gold nib, but it is a steel nib with the Sailor branding on it. Also, let me come in here. So there's the Sailor logo, and you're going to notice that the thing about this nib, I hope you can see it right there, right up there we go. It is a bent nib, and it is bent actually at a 55-degree angle, and that's what makes it fantastic for calligraphy and for art. And it has a plastic feed underneath, so you can see that there. And then I'm going to zoom out. It is supposed to unscrew. There we go. And should have 2 cartridges. There we go. 2 cartridges in there. So that is all as specified. Now, today I'm actually not going to use either one of these cartridges, because I do want to use this for calligraphy. And from all the art blogs that I have read, they have said that you really do want to use the Sailor converter. And I'm going to put this back on just to show you a few things before I go and go forward with this. So as I mentioned, this is a pretty long pen. There we go. The roll stop stopped. And let's see how long this actually is. So yeah, it's really a long pen. It is right there, like 6.6 inches, just about. So over 6.5 inches capped. And just so you get an idea, this is a Sailor 1911. And so another pen that I have from this company. And again, Sailor pens that I own are very inexpensive, on the cheap side of the spectrum. My husband, on the other hand, has some of the more expensive ones. And so anyway, you can go all the way up to, I believe, I don't know, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars with Sailor pens. And then I have my, because we're going to talk about this in terms of art, I have my Noodler's Charlie. Can you see? I don't know if you can see that. And I do love, love, love to sketch and draw with the Charlie. And so you can tell that the Charlie is very close to the 1911. And then, of course, for every comparison, I really love to compare my pens to the TWSBI. And so you can see how all that kind of racks up. So even uncapped, let me show you this, because, you know, it's not really the cap that's taking up a lot of room. It's still a long pen. So I hope that's useful for you in terms of comparisons. And I don't, I usually, because of my little hands, I usually do not cap my pens or post them. So I do cap them to close them up so the ink doesn't dry out, but I don't usually post them because look at how long that pen is. So there's no way I'm going to be doing that. And people have said that they've gotten this thing stuck. So I don't recommend actually posting the cap. But for today's demo purposes, what I'm going to do is use this converter, which had blue ink, and then it kind of colored it, and you can usually clean that out, but I have not. So I'm going to use the converter from my Sailor compass, and I will tell you, Sailor has proprietary converters, and what that means is that you can only fit a Sailor converter to a Sailor pen. So that's kind of a pain because you cannot use an international one in this. And so you just really have to go with what you have in terms of using a converter. So if you want to get one of these pens, this one is, at the time of filming this video, I purchased this one for about $13 or $15. I was looking at a few, so somewhere around that range. And the converter is an additional about $7. So by the time you're done, you're, you know, 21 bucks or so, $21, $22, just depending on how much you got that pen for. Today I'm going to, I bought the pen from Cult Pens, and I also bought this ink, and it is a Diamine, surprise, surprise, because I love Diamine. And this is called a deep dark brown, and it is a Cult Pens exclusive. And so I'm going to ink that because I wanted to try out my deep dark brown ink as well. So with the converter, you just put it into your ink well and you draw up your ink. And I'm not gonna make sure I have a full draw because I'm just testing this out. So there we go. So it's actually very easy to fill that up. And you can tell I was kind of cleaning up my other one. Make sure that converter is tight on there and we're good to go. All right. So this is my first Fude pen, or Fude pen. And so I'm going to be testing it out with you. Oh man. Okay, I just have to tell you, I'm already in love with it. Whew, that is so lovely. Okay, so it is supposed to write like a brush, and it actually writes like a brush pen that you don't have to worry about running out, and you can change out the inks, which is so great. And what I've heard about these ink cartridges is that they're awesome. It's Sailor Black, and I will tell you, a lot of people in the art world use this Fude pen for their brush drawing and lettering, and they use water, so you probably want to get a waterproof ink. Okay, so now I'm gonna just share with you a few things about this pen. So the nib that I bought is a 55-degree nib. It means it's actually angled up or bent up on purpose to a 55-degree angle so that when you lay it right on the paper, it's going to give you this kind of a deal, the thick stroke. So when you lay it down and have it like flat, it will give you a thinner stroke. And some people say you just can even flip it upside down and get these very, very fine looking strokes. And so, goodness, and you can see how dry that ink is from that. So when you're laying it down, you know, at an angle or writing like this, it's kind of like a medium. This is writing like a fine, and then this is just giving you the lovely strokes. Oh, went off the camera there. So, goodness, I'm like just so thrilled about this. This pen is mainly used for Japanese calligraphy. And so I don't do Japanese calligraphy, but I do love to write Urdu letters. So it is fantastic. It's going to be fantastic for my writing as well. So you can write a variety of different alphabets. This is my name here, so Mona. And so I'm pretty excited about that aspect of it. I also know that many artists draw with this, so I'll just draw, I don't know. I usually like to draw trees, so I'll just draw out something. And while I'm talking about this, so again, so it is really intended for calligraphy and art, and is supposed to be that kind of a pen. And I know that a great deal of artists have actually reviewed this pen, but not necessarily an unboxing. I just think it's nice to know in an unboxing, like what to expect and what are you actually purchasing. So this is more of an art pen. You're not necessarily utilizing this for, you know, practicing like how to write a letter, because you'll be writing it upside down. I don't think it's the most comfortable pen for that. And so just for drawing and things like that, I think you would want to be able to do the variation of the thick as well as the thin. And then for calligraphy, I'm going to just tell you, this is just fantastic for that. So there we go. I'm just kind of sketching it out real quick. And so there's the thinner aspects, and it can draw a very, very thin line. Uh-oh, it's running out of ink there. So speaking of running out of ink, you just saw me take it out of the box, fill it, and start to draw. And I think that is fantastic. I'm gonna do this real quick. So a little bit of feedback, not too bad. I will tell you that when I'm writing, my fingers are touching this, oh goodness, what is it? Just this, the part where you do the cap. I can't even think of the lines. Okay, so it's touching those, and that can be a little uncomfortable, but it's nice to have this grip, and it's a fairly decent grip. But again, I think the primary purpose is that you want to be able to either write calligraphy or that kind of a thing, and write thick and thin strokes. So thick, and I'm going to do it upright. So the thin strokes are supposed to be when you hold the pen upright instead of relaxed at an angle. So the more vertical you keep it, the more thin, and then the more you slant it, you will get the thick lines. Oh, I love it so much. I hope that if you're looking for a brush style pen and just want to try something new out, just in terms of, you know, things to just play with, this would be a fun pen. And the price is right. It's also Sailor, so the company is right. And if you're looking to maybe just have something for sketching or drawing, just know though, this is cheap copy paper. It is bleeding all the way through. So it is not just a broad line that you're putting down. It is like very, very thick, almost like a marker or like a brush, which is why this is named so. All right, so I think that's it. So just to recap, there are a couple pluses and minuses. Plus is that you can do thick lines and thin lines. You can use the cartridge for traveling. You can actually use a converter like I did so that you're able to better utilize your ink. You can do thick and thin strokes for sketching and for drawing and for art, which it's intended to be. And so that's the nice thing about this, is that, you know, this is with artists and art in mind. And so that brings me to the negative, and the negative is that you aren't really using this for any kind of long-term writing or like writing a letter, unless you literally were like writing, you know, maybe an envelope that has some drawing on it, or if you were trying to do something else along those lines. It does not post. You cannot eyedropper this, so that's kind of a surprise. I don't know why. It just was on the Jet Pen's website that you cannot do that. And I think the other part that kind of gets me is that it has a proprietary converter, but I will tell you, if you do not have a Sailor pen and you don't have a Sailor converter, I would encourage you to get one, because this pen is a gusher. And so you do not want to be stuck replacing cartridges, even though you can fill these up with a syringe. But I will tell you, you're going to start going through these really quickly, and you can only refill these, you know, ever so often before they start to kind of break down. So I hope that you enjoyed that review and unboxing of the Sailor Fude de Mannen pen by Sailor. And if you do not know what a Fude nib is yet, I hope that you have a much better understanding after this video. Until next time, bye.